Some of you, I've given it 2 or 3 times. But I think it would bear again. You could bear with me just a little bit with this. I'm going to read from the book of St. Luke, in the 19th chapter, beginning with the first verse. It's a very strange little text. Think of a place like this to have it, but yet all the words inspired, fitting in its place. And I trust that God will take this word and fit it right in where it belongs this morning. Jesus entered and passed through Jericho. Behold, there was a man named Zacchaeus, which was the chief among the publicans, and he was rich. And he sought to see Jesus, who he was. Let me read that again because I want to emphasize this. And he sought to see Jesus, who he was. And he could not because of the press, or because he was little of stature. And he ran before and climbed up into a sycamore tree to see him, for he was to pass that way. And when Jesus came to the place, he looked up, saw him, and said unto him, Zacchaeus, make haste, come down, for today I must abide at thy house. May the Lord add His blessings to the reading of this, His Word. This man, little character, our scene opens at Jericho. Jericho was the lowest city in the Palestine. And it's in the valley. And Jerusalem is up on the mountain, up on the hill. And if you notice, Jesus, when He came to the earth, He was given among man the lowest name that could be given. He was Beelzebub. That was the worst name they could ever call him. That's a devil, a fortune teller, evil spirit. They called his work an evil spirit. The unprepared church to meet him. They give him a horrible name, Beelzebub. And he came the most humblest birth that could ever be born, of a peasant mother. Not even a place to lay down to give birth to this baby. And his swaddling cloth, we're told, was off of the yoke of an ox that they wrapped him in the manger in a stinking stable over the wastage in the stable. And the stable is not even a correct stable, a little cave in the side of the hill. And he dealt with the lowest, most poorest of people. And he was rejected by the highest of societies. He was rejected by his own, the church, that ought to have known him. But they didn't. They wasn't trained in the Word to know him. And we find again that he went to the lowest city that was in Palestine. Jericho, I forget how many feet below sea level it is. Way low. He stooped himself so low until the smallest man of the city had to climb up in a tree to look down on him. But that's what the world thought of him. They give him the most crucial, hardest death that any man could die. He died as a malefactor. The most disgraceful that he could die. Stripped his clothes off of him. Of course, you see on the statues and so forth, they got a cloth around him. But he despised the shame. They stripped his clothes completely from him. Nailed him to a cross in shame. The lowest, hardest death that could be given, they give it to him. That's what the world thought of him, but God thought of him. Till He give him a name above every name that's named in heavens or on earth. Exalt him so high till He's thrown so high he has to look down to see heaven. That's what God thought of him. I'm sure that's our thoughts this morning too. It's above every name it could be named. Even the whole family in heaven and earth is named Jesus. And by this name every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess to it. Zacchaeus was just a businessman in the city